sitting down and not moving around, and you don't have any distractions with pets and children and stuff like that. But we're going to get started here in just a second. All right, welcome to the 186th District Court. Court is in session. This is cause number 2021 CR 0500, State of Texas versus Rosie Alvarez. We're here today for a plea. We are conducting this hearing via video conference using the Zoom application. We're also using YouTube to live stream the proceedings to keep the hearing public. The time now is 12:14 p.m. on the 30th day of June 2021. These proceedings are official. They're on the record and they're being recorded by the official court reporter. Counsel and all present are instructed to act as though you were in court, and all are instructed not to record the proceedings. And if I could have the attorneys make appearances, starting with the state of Texas, please.
Travis Banks for the state of Texas.
Greg Gameray for Rosie Alvarez.
Ma'am, are you the same Rosie Alvarez charged by indictment with assault of a public servant? Is that you?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to use a function of Zoom called share screen and show you the indictment and ask you, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. DeMarais, do we waive reading of the indictment?
We do, Judge.
I'm going to get out of share screen. I'll note that there is a discovery acknowledgement it's been signed and dated by both sides. I'm doing the same, and I make it a part of the record. And then I'm also noting that there is an application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. I'll make that a part of the record as well. Ma'am, we're going to go back to share screen. I'm going to show you a document. It's called the defendant's consent to plead by video conference. Scrolling down to an electronic signature that I'm using my cursor to circle around. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
By signing this, you're telling me two things. One, that you understand normally we do pleas live and in open court, but that you're consenting to do this plea by video conference. Did you understand that when you signed this?
Yes, sir.
Secondly, your electronic signature on this document, as well as all the other electronic signatures of yours throughout the plea packet, you're telling me that those are valid as if you personally signed those documents. Did you understand that when you signed this?
Yes, sir.
I approve the consent and make it part of the record. We're still on share screen, but now I'm showing you a document called the court's admonishments. It's several pages. I'll scroll through. Are you familiar with this document? Are you familiar with this document?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. All right, just for the record, there was inmate's mic was on, and it's just interrupting our proceedings. I turned the microphone off. All right, let me go back to share screen again. Again, ma'am, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
On the bottom of page 3 is an electronic signature. Is this yours?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get out of share screen. Hey, folks, if you're not part of this hearing, if you can turn off your microphones, please. Okay. By signing the court's admonishments, you're telling me that you understand the court's admonishments, you understand the rights that are contained within it. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And that you want to give up those rights. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And the rights that you're giving up is the right to a trial by jury. You have a right to confront the witnesses against you. You also have the right to remain silent, which includes the right not to incriminate yourself, not plead today. Did you understand that when you signed this?
Yes, sir.
By signing this, you're also telling me you understand the consequences of a plea and the sentencing range for the offense, which is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand that when you signed this?
Yes, sir.
You've applied for deferred adjudication and there are risks and benefits associated with that. The benefits are, if it's granted, then you will not be found guilty of the offense, and instead you'll be placed on community supervision, which if you're successful at that, the case is dismissed. But the risks are, if you're not successful, you could be revoked. And if you are revoked, then you would be found guilty of the offense on that day, and you're subject to the full sentencing range I just announced. Did you understand that before you applied for deferred adjudication?
Yes, sir.
Do you still wish to apply?
Yes, sir.
I approve the waivers that are contained within the court's admonishments, and I make them a part of the record. Ma'am, we're going to go into share screen another time. This time I'm going to show you the plea bargain in the case. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
There's an electronic signature to the left. I'm using my cursor to circle around. There's another one to the right. I'm using my cursor to circle around. Are these your two signatures?
Yes, sir.
This document details for me your agreement with the state as far as punishment is concerned, and I'll let you know if I'm going to follow this prior to the entry of your plea. There'll be a $1,500 fine. The state is recommending deferred adjudication. You'll pay restitution to the complaining witness, an amount to be determined by the Community Supervision Office. One of your signatures, the one on the left, waives your appeal outside of the agreement, but the recommendations are you be placed on deferred adjudication for 3 years, have 100 community service hours, have no contact with the complaining witness, and take an anger management course. Is that your understanding of the agreement, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, is that your understanding as well?
It is, Judge.
I'm going to get out share screen. Someone addressing me? Okay. Ma'am, I'm not bound by a plea bargain. I do not have to follow this. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
But if I do follow a plea bargain, then you lose your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And that's true unless I grant you permission to appeal or unless certain motions were filed and ruled upon. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And counsel, any such rulings in this case?
No, Your Honor.
If I do not follow the plea bargain, I will allow you to withdraw the plea and will proceed to trials if this hearing never occurred. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'll note again, one of your signatures on the plea bargain waives your appeal. Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
If not, then a plea of guilty or no contest to the offense would have serious adverse effects on your immigration status. And I'll note that you certified in the court's admonishments that you are an American citizen. Counsel, do you believe that your client has a factual and rational understanding of the charge pending against him? Against her, rather.
Yes, Judge,
Sorry.
I do.
Do you believe that she's been able to assist you in the defense?
Yes, she has.
Do you believe she's mentally competent to waive rights and enter a plea here today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, to the offense that's listed on your indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Do you understand she can still be found guilty under a no contest plea?
Yes, sir.
Other than the plea bargain, did anyone promise you anything in exchange for your plea today?
No, sir.
Anyone force you or coerce you to plead today?
No, sir.
After going over this case with your attorney, do you believe that pleading here today is in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
Does the state have anything to offer to support the plea?
Yes, Your Honor. State offers States Exhibit 1 and attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
It's admitted. I reviewed States Exhibit 1 and attachments prior to getting on the record and find that it is sufficient to support the plea. Ma'am, I find that your plea was freely, intelligently, and voluntarily made, that there was sufficient evidence to support the plea, and that you're mentally competent to enter into such a plea. Mr. De Marais, is there any objections to waiving the pre-sentence investigation report?
No objections, Your Honor.
Is there any legal reason as to why your client cannot be sentenced today?
No, Judge.
There being no legal reason, in accordance with agreement with the state, ma'am, I'm going to defer any finding of guilt at this time and place you on community supervision for a period of 3 years. There's a $1,500 fine. You'll pay restitution, an amount to be determined by the Community Supervision Office to the complaining witness. You will have no contact with the complaining witness, Jessica Garza. You'll have anger management. You'll have a TAP evaluation. You must follow the recommendations. There'll be 100 community service hours. And how old are you, ma'am?
I'm 21.
Do you have your high school diploma or GED?
Yes, I do have my high school diploma, sir.
Okay. All right. Are you working?
Yes, sir.
All right. You'll have 30 days to verify employment. Is there anything else from either side in regards to the plea or to the sentencing?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from the defense, Judge.
All right, ma'am, this is a plea bargain case. I followed the plea bargain. So you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You do not have the right to appeal. I'm also noting you waived your appeal in the plea bargain agreement. I'm making a certification of this for the record. I'll provide a copy of the certification to your attorney to provide to you. Ma'am, we're almost ready to conclude this hearing. When we do, you need to stay on Zoom. Afterwards, you're going to meet with one of our probation officers to go over your new conditions of community supervision. There being nothing else from either